for this rally. This was a superb all-round team effort, which was difficult to match by the other competitors. Already cars numbers 2 and 3 were in first and second position overall. With 7 stages completed, the rally car slipped quickly through a very efficiently run Nurston border post into Swaziland. Another 6 stages awaited the competitors before the regroup at Nhlangano in the southern part of Swaziland at 4 o'clock next morning. Grobler and Swanepoel were not lucky enough to make the regroup, retiring after stage 9 with a suspected blown Welsh plug, and their car was one of 27 retirements after the first 13 stages. After a 4-hour rest, only 29 cars assembled for the 8 o'clock start at Nhlangano. The escort of Damso had slipped to 4th behind Coetzee, and Sarel van der Merwe, with a comfortable 7-minute lead, could look forward without much pressure to the next 10 stages before the overnight stop at Mbabane. Sadly, on stage 15, car number 1, the escort of Damso and Bonafide, had to retire with a broken tie rod. And Van der Merwe and Boshoff, having won 12 stages so far, were relaxing slightly. Not that you'd notice, mind you. Cassie Coetzee and Wiley Harrington, in 3rd place overall in car number 4, discovered that Sanders and Hodgson in the Corolla were running much quicker on the second morning, even though the car was picking up problems, one of which was a punctured front right tyre, which had destroyed the mudguard.
The problem started just before we entered into Swaziland, where we lost the brakes on the rear entirely. And in rallying, the rear brakes are by far the most important. We did 120 kilometers of stages without the rear brakes, which proved to be somewhat exciting.
Evertser and Crick, 8th overall after 13 stages in their VW Golf, had steadily improved in the morning to 4th place overall. Evertser likes left foot braking, while the right foot is still on the accelerator. Slightly out of step there. Ben and Isabel van der Westhuizen, in 9th place overall after 13 stages, were leading Class F, which is for standard locally built cars with engines under 1600 cc's. Glenn Hall and Peter Cuffley in their VW Golf, which had been 10th overall, were steadily catching the Van der Westhuizens, and by late afternoon had managed to slip into 7th position overall, ahead of Ben van der Westhuizen's Corolla. South of Mbabane, stage 17, stretched over 27 kilometers in and out of the Usutu forest. Time allowed for the stage was 20 minutes, at an average speed of 82 kilometers an hour. Mortimer and Woodhead had won 2 stages, 15 and 16 earlier in the morning, and they won the stage by 8 seconds from Van der Merwe and Boshoff in a time of 17 minutes and 17 seconds. The gun camera, mounted behind the navigator's head, was switched on via a remote control switch by Spotty Woodhead, in between instructions to Jeff Mortimer. Although shaving a few seconds off Sarel's lead of 6 minutes, consolidating their second position was Mortimer's first priority.
I should say the team tactics are for us to finish in a strong first and second position at this stage. It's a long way to go, but we'll probably hold station once we're well clear of the rest of the field, which we are at this moment anyway. But one can't really slow down too much because you lose concentration and you're just as likely to have an accident going too slowly as you are going too fast.
The big Nissan Skyline of Cassie Coetzee and Wiley Harrington was lying in 3rd place overall. Coetzee had finished 2nd behind Jan Hettemer in this rally in 1977. He and Wiley Harrington had been rallying together for 2.5 years. Eric Sanders and Guy Hodgson were not at all happy with the problems besieging their Corolla. a valve seat had worked its way loose from the cylinder head and in the process had damaged a piston. The cylinder head was replaced by a less modified one, and they were unable to use the full power of the engine. They slipped into 6th place overall, having lost over 15 minutes due to repair work. Van der Merwe and Boshoff continued to ease off and be content with 2nd places. 24 minutes was allowed for this 30,6 kilometre stage, and teammates Jeff Mortimer and Spotty Woodhead won the stage in a time of 21 minutes and 45 seconds. Because of the problems Sanders and Hodgson were having, Dickie Klaver and Peter Rasmus in their Corolla number 11 improved on their 6th place overall to 5th by the end of the day. Only 2 stages were left before the end of the 2nd day. Stage 22 in the Markens area was a stone's throw away from the tranquility of the paper mill at Bunya. The organised trail of smoke was in sharp contrast to the clouds of dust being raised through the pineapple fields. Helicopter pilot Piet Viljoen expertly kept our cameraman close to the action. And Crick, leading Class E, finished this 14-kilometre stage in 10.5 minutes, and behind them Dickie Klaver, having benefited from Eric Sanders' difficulties, was now also experiencing an unforeseen problem.
Well, nothing that actually cost us time. We've got a cracked sump, and we're leaking oil at about a rate of a litre per stage. So it's something we can't really fix. We just hope that the sump won't crack any further, and if it stays like it is, we'll probably finish.
And finish they did, in 5th place overall after 23 stages. Another car to finish the 2nd day was that of Ben and Isabel van der Westhuizen in 8th position overall. The last stage of the day, within walking distance of the hotels, was short, only 3.5 kilometres long, with a water splash to entertain spectators. Andrew and Chris Birkin in a Ford Escort Mark II, competing in Class B, finished the day 16th overall, but had to retire the following morning when they got stuck in stage 24. Eddie Ruiz and Julie Hull in their Nissan Stanza finished the day 14th overall and in 5th place in Class B. The Nissan 140Z of Bossie Bosman and Thilo van Westenhagen was 15th overall at the end of the day, and they were one of only 20 cars still left in the rally. Back at rally headquarters, sophisticated computer equipment made over 500,000 calculations to keep competitors, press, radio and television up to date with the progress of the rally. Having covered 504 kilometres and 23 special stages, the teams settled into the hotels for a hard-earned rest, firmly convinced that Sarah van der Merwe, barring an accident, was not going to be overtaken. Best performance of the day amongst many was that of Johan Evertse and Jan Crick in Class E in 4th place overall. but closely watched by the two Corollas of Claver and Saunders. The competitors were off early at 4 a.m., as were our camera crews, to get to Mhlume in the northern part of Swaziland before first light and stage 28.